What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of She's Got Game. So today I'm here with Costa Rican basketball legend Daniela Quesada. So how's it going?
It's going well. Mexico. It's been good so far,
Mhm.
and happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm really glad to have you on the podcast. I've seen you play, I've played against you, and like the whole country's talking about you, and you're a really great player. So I'm glad to learn about your journey today. All right. So,
Oh, thank you.
of course. So, initially, what got you started playing basketball in the first place?
I think that in my family, everybody kind of played basketball. My parents played, my sisters played, but there was a point where they actually did triathlon, but I just didn't like it because it was a lot with that. So I was just supporting my sisters.
Mhm.
But it was definitely because it was in my family. And I think I started when I was around 5. And, in the beginning, it wasn't enough girls. It was always like one or two of us. So we'll play with the guys. So it was very competitive. And I really liked that. And yeah, I think I just became really passionate and I loved it since I was little. And from that, everything just started happening in a very good way. So I just continue doing it, and I still love it. It's still my passion.
That's really good. That's really cool to come from a whole basketball family. You don't really see that a lot, or even just an athletic family in general. You kind of all keep each other into the sport. So that's really good to hear.
Yeah.
So, at what point in your life did you realize, like, oh, I want to go pro or I want to take this seriously? Was it always like that, or was it like a certain time?
I think I was around 10 when I told my parents. I was like, I feel like I need to go somewhere else to have a better opportunity because I mean, that in Costa Rica sometimes it's kind of hard to do that because we don't really have a professional league, or it's not like seen or supported as much as soccer. So then when I was 10, I did tell my family maybe I want to go to the US, maybe try to go to a good school, get my education, also play basketball. And they were very supportive about it, but they also said you have a lot of work to do. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very challenging. So I kind of just kept working hard, and it was probably when I got called into the national team, and then we played these big teams like Brazil, the U.S., Argentina at the time. And there was a scout watching that game against Brazil, and I had a really good game. And then they knew Monica Malavaski from Costa Rica, and then Warren, which he's with the national team now, and they got in contact with them, and they were like, this coach watch you play. What do you think? And I didn't know really much about the high school that had contact them, but I was like, well, this is like my opportunity. Like, it's now or never. And I was 15. I was very nervous. My parents were like, well, you're very young, but this is your time to do it. So kind of just happened like that. But I guess that it was in my mind since I was very young. And I just continued working hard, and it kind of just happened.
Wow.
It was supposed to, I guess.
Wow, that's really good. And you hear that a lot. Like you said, there's not a lot of opportunities in Costa Rica. A lot of people aren't being seen and stuff. So for you to be able to play on that national level and perform, and as a result, for you to be able to play in the US, that's really, really great. So talk to me a little bit more about you being able to play on the national team. I know you mentioned you started playing at 14. So what was that experience like?
That was kind of like the ultimate dream in Costa Rica, I think, because, well, for me, I don't live around or close to San Jose. I live kind of far. I'm like 2 hours away from, I guess, like a small city. So there wasn't a lot of players from there ever, I don't think. It was always like maybe like they would call us into the uh, pre when they had like 24 to 32 players, and sometimes the majority of them wouldn't make it. So I was very excited because that one time I think it was like two of us. So I was also like, happy and glad, that they were like taking into consideration more people from San Carlos. But in that age, I guess that we didn't have much experience, not only us, but also the coaches. So they were kind of just seeing what happened when we were playing El Salvador, Guatemala, and all these teams. And it was very competitive at that level. And it just kind of made us realize that we had a lot of work to do as far as like the national team. But it was a great experience. You get to travel to another country, you get to play against other teams and better players, and then you kind of know where your level's at. So I think that's a really good experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree because even coming from the US, it's really hard to make the team because it's such a big country. There's so many people who play basketball. So
Yeah.
not a lot of people get to experience playing in these national games and representing their country and stuff. So I think that's a really good experience for like everybody, even at the adult level when you're playing on the national team. That's really good.
Yeah.
So I saw that you ended up playing Team USA in U16. I'm not sure if you played in other ages too, but what was it like being able to play against Team USA?
Well, I remember honestly being super excited to have that opportunity. Uh, I think that we played against. Well, and at that time it's funny because Sabrina Ionescu, she was not a starter. I don't even think she played that game. She maybe played like 2 minutes of the game.
Wow.
But we play all these players that are in the WNBA now, and it's just amazing. We lost that game, but it was a great experience for sure. Now we see them on TV, and I'm pretty sure everybody remembers playing them. Like the team that we had at the time, we all remember playing them, and I think that's really cool. Now seeing them where they are now.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't even think about the players that were on that team. That's crazy. So you have a whole lot of pro WNBA, really high profile players now, and especially with the game growing, I think it's really cool to be like, oh, I played against her, or I guarded her, or she guarded me. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. So growing up, what do you think? Because in Costa Rica, like we mentioned, there's not a lot of opportunity and not everybody gets to play at the high level, and even in the US. What do you think separated you from your peers that made you play in the US, but then like playing more around this area?
I would say that since I was little, I always wanted to do, put in that extra work. And I think that as far as like, I want to say that Costa Ricans, we are kind of like, oh, we're good. Like, we're really chill when it comes to like maybe doing that extra mile. Like, we're known for that, for, the pura vida life. So everything is just like, oh, I'm just going to chill. And that happens sometimes in soccer too. But I feel like if you have a different mentality, that can get you really far. And I always wanted to improve. I was always watching other players. I remember growing up, I used to watch Silvia play. No, Natalia, I didn't watch Natalia play. I watched Monica play, and all the players I play with my sisters, and even them, my sisters. I used to always go to their games and pick up on like the things they would do, and try to do that at home. And my mom was gonna go crazy because I was always dribbling the ball around the house and stuff, and she was like, no, like you need your own space. And they kind of built like a little space with a rim for me to shoot. But I was always very intense when it came to continue working and getting better. So I think that helped a lot. And when the opportunity came, I felt like I was ready. And well, when I was there, I was just kind of learning through the process and getting used to being in a different place. There was definitely more physicality playing over there than back home. But I think that with time, it became easier. Yeah, it's kind of how it happened.
That's nice. That's nice. So I know you played at Montverde Academy. What was that experience, just going to high school in general? It's a whole new country. Had you been to the USA before? Was it your first time? What was that like?
I was there before for vacation with my family, so a very short time. But that was my first time sort of leaving, studying, and having a whole experience there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous at first. I didn't know what to expect, but and I was happy that I had that opportunity. Unfortunately, at the time that I was there, it was mostly about the guys because
Mm-hmm.
there was Ben Simmons was there, D'Angelo Russell, so pretty much all eyes were on them, and
Mm-hmm.
the program was just like sort of starting to grow,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, it was good, but now it's incredible. I see what they're doing. I see the players they have. I see where they're going, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that now it's grown a lot. But the whole experience was amazing because there was a lot of people. It was like people from I want to say like 57 or 60 different countries,
Wow.
and it was just a great experience. You get to learn about different people, different cultures, different languages. I feel like the education was also great. And I definitely got better as a basketball player. So it was overall a great experience. I think that's a great high school. And yeah, I'm just grateful that I had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely pays off, and you can definitely see your hard work paying off, even being from a whole different country where soccer is more like the dominant sport. For you being
Mhm.
able to play in these places, that's really great for you. So, did you play AAU? I know some people who go to these schools outside also play AAU. Was that something you did?
I tried to do it, but for some, I don't remember at the time what was the issue. But I knew I had to do something with me being an international student and something with traveling. And at the time, you needed to go with, I guess, a guardian or somebody. And I think there was an issue with that. So it was mostly the school that didn't allow me to go. But I had teammates that went to, and I don't know, I could see that it was a great experience. Like they had to compete against really good players. They got a lot of gear and stuff. So I was kind of sad about that because I was thinking maybe I'm not gonna get into school because that was like the easier way to, or like the way that scouts could see you better and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I was a little sad about that because I was like, I'm not gonna get a school. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe I'm gonna have to go back home. But I'm glad that didn't happen. But I definitely would have played if I could have. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So with that being said, like you're saying, the college scouts is kind of not easier, but they can kind of see you easier. Walk
Mhm.
me through the process of you being able to play in college. So how are you able to do that?
That was actually it's a funny story because after high school, I got an offer from like it was like an academy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's called Impact Academy. There's one in Florida, one in Las Vegas. I think the one in Las Vegas, a lot of NBA players go work out there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like the same. The one in Florida is not as known for that as the one in Las Vegas, but it's basically you have like extra 6 months, or if you need a year to prepare yourself
Mm-hmm.
academically and to go and also for the sport that you want to play. I was good with my academics, but I wanted to go there so I could get try to see if I could get off better offers for school because the offers that I got were like more academic than for basketball, and I didn't know how to do the whole process. Like if I was right now with the knowledge that I have in that moment, it would have been a different story. But at the time, I really didn't know what was going on. If I'm honest with you, I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, what am I supposed to do? Are they going to contact me? I was, and I didn't have a lot of help at the time either, so it was difficult. But with that opportunity at Impact, we play tournaments in IMG and things like that. And I got offers for a junior college in Florida, and I signed with them. But
Mm-hmm.
then I was with a couple of friends from Costa Rica that went with me at the time, and then there was another guy from Montana that offered us all to go there. So I was like, wow, this can be really good. I can go with them. So I gave the coach a call and I was like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, thank you so much for have another opportunity that I'm probably gonna take. And
Mm-hmm.
she was cool about it. She understood, and then I signed with the other school. And for some reason, they call like a week, 2 or 3 weeks after like we all had committed, and they were like, we have issues with the visa. I don't think that it's gonna be possible. And I was like, wow, like I really messed up. Like I had my school and now I have nothing. So I was talking to my family and I was like, well, I'm probably gonna stay in Costa Rica. Like this is just gonna be my life. And I actually adopted a dog and everything because I was like, I'm gonna stay here. And suddenly, for some reason, that coach called me and he was like, hey, I watch you play in Florida. I'm gonna go to this D2 school in West Virginia. And I was like, uh-huh. And he was like, we want you here. I was like, wow, this is like crazy. I wasn't even planning on this, but okay. And I didn't know anything about it. I barely saw any pictures online, I think. And I was just, I'm gonna go because if I don't go, I probably won't have another opportunity. And that's kind of how I ended up there. I definitely liked Florida better than West Virginia because of like the city that I was at. But I mean, I got to have my education and I played, so it ended up working somehow. And I feel like it was God, the universe, something. It sent me like a sign that I had to be there. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, that's really good. And I hear that with a lot of the people who come on the podcast, whether it's going to college, whether it's getting a contract overseas, you kind of hear it a lot. They say everything happens for a reason. And I feel like you can kind of see that in sports a lot on all different aspects, or even just life in general. Everything kind of happens for a reason. All the stars align eventually. So it's definitely something to think about whenever you're going through stuff like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. So coming from Costa Rica and playing in the US, what are some major differences? I know you said physicality, but were there any other differences in like the playing styles and how are you able to adapt?
Yeah. Besides that, I think also it's a little more, the pace is faster and you have to think faster. It's a lot more of one-on-one situations, I think, and you come across also players that are really skilled, especially in like maybe the guard position, and also really tall post players. I know in Costa Rica we don't have a lot of height. There's a couple, but it's not as much as maybe the US that you see players that are, I don't know, like 6'4", 6'5", and then you're like, wow, like that is very different from what I'm used to. And the beginning was a little hard because I was kind of shy. So I was like, I know I could do this, but I wasn't doing it fully or completely. But then one day, like suddenly I was just like, I just gotta do it. Like I know I could do it, I have to do it. And that's when I was like, well, I can really compete with them, like, because I wasn't sure if I could do it. So I had that in the back of my mind. I was like, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? But I was like, I need to stop thinking that way. Like, if I don't try, I'm never gonna know if, I can compete with them. And just one day I was just like, I have to do it. And I just did it. And I was happy with the result. I was like, wow, like, you don't really know what you're capable of. You don't really try it. You don't go out there and school in life in general. You have to always believe in yourself, and everything is gonna end up working. Or if it doesn't, then you learn. But you have to just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely good. And I see a lot of people, even whether it's coming to the US or going to a different country, they say like you always have to go in there with an open mind, whether it's actually playing, whether it's adapting to the culture, anything like that. I hear that a lot. Like, I guess it's to be true. Just going into a new country or a new season with an open mind and really like soaking in everything that you're learning and stuff like that. So it's definitely good.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about the process of you being able to sign your first pro contract.
That was my last year in college. But before that, I think we had a tournament in Mexico, actually, in Chihuahua. We had the Cocava, which is all the Central American teams, and Mexico. And we did okay because we classified to the other round. And I got to be in the best five of the tournament. I was very happy about that. And after that, there was a scout that, or agent, sorry, and she came up to me and she was like, "Would you be interested in playing here?" And I was like, "Sure." Like I would listen to the options and everything, but I couldn't really talk to her because we were leaving for the hotel, and then we were. I don't know if we had a game after day after that. Yeah, we did have a game, so I really couldn't talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next day, as I'm walking down the to get breakfast, she was there singing, and I was like, "This is kind of weird." Like I didn't tell her where we were staying at, but okay. And then I say hi to her, and she was like, "You want to sit with me?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I sat there, and she was telling me everything about the Mexican League,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Wow, like you could really have a job here the entire year if you stay." But and compared to back home, it was like all of that and nothing at all. So I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Like I never knew that Mexico was like that, and I think it's continued. It continued growing after I had that conversation with her. So I told her that I had my last year that I wanted to finish school, but I didn't know what was gonna happen. But I was, keeping an open mind, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to you after I graduate and finish everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that year that we had the tournament, I think around November, I broke my hand, so I couldn't really play my senior season
Mm-hmm.
until like the end of January.
Wow.
But it was, I guess, it was also supposed to happen
Mm-hmm.
because for some reason when I came back, I was playing better than I was before, and I
Wow.
had all that time of and I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, wow, maybe I needed kind of help me somehow. It was weird, but sometimes life works like that. So I just
Mm-hmm.
like, I took it. I was like, okay, fine. And after that, around February, I had a call with her and the manager of the team because I'm playing the same team that I was playing as last year. And they told me it was a new team, a new franchise, everything. And I was like, very excited because I guess I was the first player that they contacted for the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, they must have seen something in me, and I was just happy that the opportunity kind of came because I didn't know if after college I had to start looking. I didn't have an agent,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't know how that worked, and I was a little bit, I was a little bit scared about the contract situation and everything because I had no experience
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever in any of that. But I think that she wanted to be my agent in a way. So she did help me with the process, understanding the contract and getting in contact with them when I had questions and stuff. So that was good. And that's kind of how it happened. I think that the national team was the reason why they
Mm-hmm.
watched me play and the opportunity came.
Wow, that's good. And that's good, like you're saying, you keep working and stuff like that because the national team is like a big stage. There's a whole lot of
Mm-hmm.
opportunities that are out there. You know, you're on FIBA, and like you said, there's scouts there and agents. So that's like the ultimate. I feel like it might be more exposure than AAU, at least for overseas experience.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
definitely a
agree.
good opportunity. It's something to consider too, because a lot of people don't think about that playing overseas and stuff like that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really good. So let's talk about the Mexico League. So I know there's a lot of people there, and like you said, it was like growing and everything. So you have people like Jasmine Carson, Shaylee Gonzalez, Deja Church, like
Mm-hmm.
really good players like that. And I know there's like numerous more. So what's it like playing in that league, playing against them, with them, and stuff like that?
Well, last year, I wasn't really worried about like anybody like or the players or anything. I was just like, I'm just gonna go over there, have fun. And then I started seeing that XWNBA players were in the league, EuroLeague players,
Mm-hmm.
Division 1 players, and I was like, wow, I think that this is the best competition like that I could possibly get in my entire life. Like this is amazing. Like I think it's one of the best leagues, if not the best league in Latin America so
Mm-hmm.
far. And maybe it would even be in the top 5 or 10 leagues in the entire world. Obviously, you have your league, you have WNBA that's first, but that's definitely there. And I was just like really excited that I had this opportunity. And last year it was a different team.
Mhm.
The league got better this year. They every single team is good. You know, you could play with it against the team that's the last team in the like table that they have, and they can
Mhm.
beat you. Like every single team is good, and you have these amazing players that have had great experiences. Even my own teammates, like they have played in Greece, in
Wow.
Italy, Spain, France. Like it's just amazing. I even have a team in that went to the Olympics with her country in with Belgium. So I'm just surrounded these amazing players that had the great experience, and I'm just trying to keep their brains because you know they have
Mhm.
a lot of experience. They've been through a lot, and you get better here whether you play the 40 minutes of the game or if you play just trying to learn and trying to be better. It's going to be a good experience because
Mhm.
obviously not everybody's going to get the same opportunity. You have to earn everything here, and it's
Mhm.
more difficult, challenging, but at the end of the day, it makes you grow as a player and as a person.
Mhm.
So I think this is probably the best opportunity that I've ever had in my life so far. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. And yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for you to be able to pick these people's brains and learn about their experiences. That's kind of my idea to do with this podcast, kind of surround myself with more like overseas players because that's what I'm interested in doing when I'm older. So that's kind of like the approach that I'm taking, just picking people's brains. So I think that's really good.
Yeah.
So, to end the interview off, we have some speed questions to kind of get to know you a little bit better as a player. All right. So, first question is, what is your go-to pregame song?
But I don't have any specific song, but I just if I want to, it depends on how I'm feeling because I could either listen to like the old school reggaeton or like
Mm-hmm.
Spanish R&B or even just like R&B, or I could sometimes I want to be like relaxed and I would listen to Adele. I know she's completely
Mm-hmm.
different, but helps me. Like when I'm
Mm-hmm.
nervous or I need to calm down, I just listen to her and it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that too.
Yeah, I definitely hear that sometimes. There's like two types of people. Some people want to listen to like super hype music, and some
Yeah,
people just want to listen to like calm music.
yeah.
So I can definitely see that. So, what's your favorite basketball shoes at the moment?
Definitely the A1, the
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards one. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
those shoes. They're very comfortable. I hadn't played with Adidas for a very long time, but
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the reviews and I like how they looked and they're extremely comfortable. I probably get more, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What colorway do you have?
I remember. I think it's called the New Wave, the blue ones.
Uh-huh.
I
Oh
got
yeah.
those, but I wanted to get the white ones, but they weren't
Mm-hmm.
available here, so I got the blue ones. I still like them, but they're cool.
Yeah, I have the white ones too, and I was just talking to my dad, like these are literally the best shoes I've ever played in.
Those are
Like
fire.
they never slip, like the grip is
Yeah.
crazy. So I also plan on getting some more. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what's your top three favorite players? It could be male, female, WNBA, NBA, whatever league. Let's see.
Uh, yeah, I really like Skylar Diggins. Since
Mm.
she was in Notre Dame, I've always kind of like how she played her side. I know she's a lefty, but still, I really like her game. I like Asia Wilson. She hasn't
Mm.
played anything like me or my position, but I really like she's killing it.
Uh-huh.
And I would say that Sabrina Ionescu is also there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely three great players, especially Asia Wilson. You know, she got MVP last year, so she's really a hooper. All of them, really. That's good. All right, next one. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to describe to me your game in 3 words.
I would say it's dynamic. I want to say like this is hard. Actually, I have to really think.
Mhm.
Because I kind of like make quick decisions, but I'm very like careful, and I try to think before things happen. So I guess that I expect, or I kind of think that okay, this is gonna happen, so maybe I have to react this way. But if this doesn't happen, I have to have another plan. So I don't know if there's a word for that, but I'm like careful, but I also like take risks when I feel like it's time to. Because if you're always like careful, then it's like your defender like knows what to expect from you. But I
Mhm.
see that I kind of like map the court and then make
Mhm.
decisions. So I don't go at like the same speed all the time, but I am like I analyze. I guess analytical would be there. It's
Mhm. Smart play.
and I try to be yes. And what else? I said dynamic, that's smart, think versatile. You
Hmm.
said that.
That's
Mhm.
good. Those are some good attributes to have to your game. And I know seeing you play, you're really good at that mid range shot in the mid
Oh
range
yeah,
area. That's like your specialty. So that's really good. That's a thing that not a lot of people have because especially nowadays, everyone wants to shoot the three or do a layup. Not everybody.
yeah.
And then you don't like have to exert so much energy going to the basket,
Mhm.
especially being like an undersized player. You just stop and pop. I think that's really good to
Yeah.
have. Definitely.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what is your go-to move?
Well, definitely that will be in the mid-range area, but I usually feel like I just kind of go like either between my legs and go to the left, or do like
Mm-hmm.
an in and out, just shoot the pull up.
Mm.
Also, I'm good coming off screens too. So if there's a screen, probably better. I can either take it to the basket, shoot it there, or just pass it to the pop or the roll.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about the in and out, and even me for myself, it like always works. It's one of the easiest moves, and it
Yeah.
always shifts your defender for open shot. So I can definitely see that. So next question is, what's the coolest environment you've been able to play in? I know overseas they have like, depending on the leagues, they have a lot of people there. And even I know in the Mexico League, I've seen the pictures of the crowds and everything. So what has been that coolest environment
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah. Fans here are really crazy. Like they they really like love everyone here.
Mm,
It's really funny. But I think that the best one so far is probably in El Salvador when we played the Central American and Caribbean Games.
mm-hmm,
It was for the Olympic cycle. Obviously, we have never been to the Olympics in basketball, but that's the closest that we get to. And I remember they had this amazing gym, and they had all the. I think the president just said that one day was like Wednesday. He was like, "Don't go to school, just go to the games." That's
wow.
kind of cool what he did, and all of the kids were in there, and it was just amazing. I remember we played Cuba that day, and we lost that game, but everybody was kind of like screaming our names, and I think I got out of the game, and they were like shouting my last name, and I was like, wow, like this is cool. So I
Mm,
think that that was a really good experience that I have. I've always remember that moment.
wow, that's really good. And was that like for adult national games or was it like when you were younger?
Yeah, yeah, no, that was recently. It was last year, I think,
Oh,
in
wow.
July. Mhm.
Wow, that's really good. And like I said, like a lot of people don't know that like basketball is worldwide. It's the second largest
Mhm.
sport played in the world. So everybody knows about it. Everybody is an enthusiast. So it's
Yeah,
really cool to see. Was that
sure.
for
Oh
sure?
yes, I said especially now for women's, like it's grown
Mm-hmm.
so much and hopefully continues to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I want to ask you, what's your dream country to play in? Do you have a dream country? I know, like I said, it's everywhere. So is there somewhere specific that you kind of dream of playing?
Right now, I would love to play in Greece,
Mm,
not only because of the league, but the whole experience of being there, the country, the pictures. You know, I've seen pictures; it looks beautiful. I've heard from people that it's amazing. Just the scenery, the food, everything. So I would love to go to Greece for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm the same way because I've heard from people who have played in Greece, and they've even said, like, if I didn't play basketball, if I were to retire, I would just go to live in Greece. Like, and it's beautiful. You see pictures online, like, it's a beautiful country. Definitely. So, what separates you from every other player in your position?
I think that I am always trying to add something new to my game. I think that before I used to just be focused or more focused on my offense, but now coming into this league, I became a better defender. I still have a lot of work to do, but I feel like maybe it has a little bit to do with kind of how I played when I was back home. That it was, you can play a little more relaxed and stuff like that. But now I know that if I ever go back home, I need to raise the bar and just be different. Not because the level is different. You have to play different. You always have to play the game as respect the game and play your best no matter what, and no matter who you're playing against. So I think that now I'm always trying to learn something new. I'm always trying to watch film and see how I can improve or become a better passer or something. So I think that I'm in that constant stage of like learning, growing, and knowing that I always have something to improve. And so I never want to just be like, oh, I'm good now. Like I don't have anything else to do. I never want to settle in that way. I know that you never stop learning when you play basketball. So I get that makes me different from other players.
That's good. Yeah, it's really good to have because even at the pro level, I feel like there's always a higher level. Of course, WNBA is super high, but even whenever you're getting to that level, there's still stuff you need to improve on. And then I feel like once you get to a certain point, it's about maintaining what you're good at the same time. So I could definitely see that as something. So another question, if you didn't play basketball, if you didn't hoop, what sport do you think you would be a pro at?
It's a good question. I think maybe soccer. I think that a lot of people have said that to me, and I think that even in Costa Rica, especially, it would have been good because the women's soccer is very good, and some of them have played in France and other countries in Europe, or even I think Mexico has some players. And they also get paid really well. So maybe that would have been a good plan to have if I didn't play basketball. Yeah, soccer.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially coming from this country. Soccer's huge. So
yeah,
I can definitely see that. So final question, what's some advice you would give a Tika who wants to be in your position when they're older?
Yeah, definitely to just continue working, doing that extra work, not being satisfied with just the practices that you have with your team. Like actually get better yourself, know that out there, the level is a lot different, not because like you're killing in Costa Rica doesn't mean that it's gonna be like that in other places. Like you really have to push yourself to the limit and always have an open mind, be ready for the opportunity, and you never know who could be watching. So always be ready and just work hard every day and believe in yourself, no matter what. Like people are gonna tell you that you can't do it, you can prove them wrong, but especially prove yourself wrong. So always believe in yourself, work hard, and be ready.
Wow, that's some really good advice. And even I'm gonna take that just living in Costa Rica. Like you said, there's not all the opportunities, but just working hard, like I'm training every day and just seeing whatever comes at me. Like we said, everything happens for a reason. So I think that's some good advice to just keep working and stuff like that. Well, that's a wrap. I want to thank you for coming on the podcast. I definitely got some good knowledge. And yeah, I'll be watching your games, seeing you around, hopefully training with you sometime soon.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I think that this is great what you're doing for everyone that wants to learn more about what it's like to play overseas and stuff. So yeah, I also look forward to training with you and stuff. So yeah, let's hopefully see you soon when I'm back home.
For sure, for sure.
Abrir e inaugurar la temporada del Irapuato para que también los freseros vayan a enderezar a de la jugada. Allá viene otra vez. Se mete Bonza.